now in his keynote speech, right, where he talked about, GANs, which is generative adversarial networks, and how deep fakes can be easily perpetrated if you are not careful with the use of computer vision video analytics. So that's a nice, precursor to what we are going to learn with Azure video analytics today. All right. So that was a nice kind of stage set for a logical continuity with our cognitive services, especially with video analytics today. All right. This is what how it will go, right? So we will see about brief overview video analytics, some concepts, how to detect and specify models, and demos will be like all throughout the session, right? So it won't be like a specific section only at the end. All right, so this is about me. You can connect with me on my Twitter handle, which is at fuzzymind1, right? So video analyzer, the video analyzer or indexer functionality which we are going to see today is a part of Azure Cognitive Services, right? So cognitive services, as Louis just told us, are a suite of AI as a service offerings which are given to us for us to be used as APIs or SDKs, or as HTTP REST endpoints, or as software development kits, which we can directly plug into our applications and start building applications immediately. So, for example, like I want to have a text translation sort of functionality in my application, or speech to text sort of functionality in my application, then I need not start building my model right from scratch. So there are models available out there, and cloud platforms, typically Google, Microsoft, IBM, AWS, all these have built their own intelligence on top of pre-built models, and handed it over to software developers as sort of services that can be consumed right away in our applications. So we have AI applications, which can be AI services, which can see, which can think, which can talk, and which can do cognitive decisions as well, right? So today our focus will be on the vision offerings, which is mostly custom vision, computer vision, and video indexing. All right. There are other offerings as well, like decision making, language offerings, speech offerings, and web search. So pretty cool, all of them. Like content moderation, especially personalizer, form recognizer in vision, and LUIS in the language understanding, Q&A maker. Like pretty interesting offerings to try out. Another word of caution is not all scenarios are addressed by these cognitive service offerings. All right. So as I said, that when you have a very generic use case, wherein let's say you have a face recognition application, or you have an object detection application, or you have a speech to text sort of application, in then in those cases there are state of the art models available out there. So for object detection, typically, right, you have ResNet and ImageNet and all these annotated models with thousands of pictures already out there, and then these have been made use of, and the offerings are leveraged on these models, and then made available to us. So we need not reinvent the wheel. We need not write everything right from scratch. But on the other hand, when we have a very specific use case, like I want to do entity recognition or named entity or relationship extraction within entities for my specific enterprise data or my documents, then that is the scenario when I'll start programming or building my own machine learning models. Or even for example, object detection on my own custom images or domain, then I would make use of transfer learning to sort of build up my use case on existing models, and then tune it to my use case, right? So yeah, it's like a mix and match between these two, depending on the scenario and how you want to base your machine learning on. All right, but the thumb rule is, if it is like a generic application, go for AI as a service, so all of your cognitive services. If it's a very specific use case which you want to build to address a very specific problem, then go for your building your own machine learning models with the Databricks or with Azure machine learning notebooks. Coming back to vision, right? So let's say, like, when we as a human, you and me, when we see something, what do we see? So when we see a face, right, what do we see? We see eyebrows, we see eyes, nose, placement of the lips and stuff like that. So when I see these features, according to my brain, that makes up a face. All right, that makes up a human face. What happens typically when a computer sees a face, for example, right? So how does a computer know that this is a face, recognize it as a face, and draw a bounding box around it, right? So how it detects that is via nodal points, right? So nodal points are a set of these easy to find points, such as the distance between your eyebrows, the nose bridge, the distance between your eyes, the placement of the, average placement of the lips, and stuff like that. So 27 nodal points are defined in case of Azure face recognition. Okay, and this is how, when all these nodal points are identified and a bounding box is then drawn across these nodal points, and that is how the coordinates are determined, like the top left and the bottom right and the width and the height, and then that bounding box becomes a data structure for the computer vision to recognize a face, and then and tag it. Okay, all right. So again, what is this head pose attribute? Like in the previous keynote session, we were listening to we were seeing systems that, it would be easy to fool them, like, deep fakes. Or what if I had an application which is a fake recognition application, so it's a biometric application wherein, it is locked by my face and it is opened by my face recognition, something like that. So without this head pose attribute, how do I kind of authenticate myself in a valid way, right? So maybe, I can just put a mask of authenticated person in front of me and seeing that should the system allow me in. No, that is where this head pose attribute comes into play, right? So it is the head pose attribute determines whether the face rectangle which has been detected is it rotatable. Okay, so does it, like, these are attributes like roll and pitch that will identify the movement of your neck movements, whether your neck is moving left, right, up, down. Okay, that is a sort of liveness indicator. Liveness indicator meaning that pitch and roll will determine whether your face is real or fake, or whether you're trying to spoof your way into the system. All right, so all these head shaking, head nodding, these gestures can be detected. It is a very useful feature, especially in video analytics, where, you are trying to where you're trying to identify whether something is real or fake. So now what we saw was, all these face detection and how a computer sees objects. All these were about static images. Okay. Before we go to videos, videos are nothing but, image frames moving at a very fast speed, right? So this is an age old definition of what is a video. Is like a fast moving accelerated image frames. All right. So before we move on to analyzing videos in real time, let us have a quick look at how static images are analyzed. All right, or what do we see in sorry, yep, what do we see in static images? All right, so I'll just refresh this so that we are again on the. All right, so what can computer vision do? Okay, what can computer vision do? So it can, given a picture, it can extract information about that picture. Like, what does this picture convey, right? So it is tagging the picture with the few attributes, like it can see skyscraper, it can see roads, it can see traffic, it can see cars, it can see trees, right? It is trying to sort of peg it as a daytime, right? So this is a daytime cityscape, busy highway, correct? Downtown, right? And description, it is trying to describe a street with cars and buildings. And it is also trying to moderate content, whether it has some racy content, whether it has some adult content and stuff like that. Okay. What can computer vision additionally is it can extract out I mean text from images, right? So this is optical character recognition, extracting out whatever text was there in your images. a very important functionality, a use case for extracting out text from images would be like, your receipts. When your receipts are submitted, the computer vision is able to read the receipt as a table and extract out key features like, the billing date, the invoice number, the name of the shop, or the the seller, right, and the total, subtotal, those sort of things, and extract it out, thereby reducing your manual effort tremendously. All right, so this is like optical character recognition. It can also recognize handwriting. Okay, so handwritten notes, which is, so basically, reading text and imagery and reading handwriting are both optical character recognition use cases, right? Much like the form recognizer, wherein you are your forms which are scanned as images, the computer vision is able to decipher the location of all these aforementioned fields like total, subtotals, inventory, and stuff like that. Okay, it can recognize celebrities, landmarks, famous, almost around 200K celebrities from business, politics, sports, entertainment, okay, and known landmarks, known wonders of the world, and those kind of known locations. All right, so it can quickly highlight that. And then it can give us information about that, like with a confidence interval, and then extract other things which we saw, like it will extract tags out of the image, it will try to form a caption or a description for the image, and all these things, like the auto captioning of images, or tagging images, these are continuously being used in ad campaigns. These are used for indexing images for image search. All right, now can any one of you, just at random guess that why we should tag images? Like, what is this pressing need for having all these images tagged and all this metadata about images extracted out? Any idea? Like, just give it a shot. Just, why do you think that we need all these images? Yeah, I see classification as one answer here, right? But I mean, for example, I mean, why I myself sort of woke up to this reality of image tagging or image indexing is, right. So the other day, my 3-year-old, she came to me saying that she wanted a very specific, studded dress or something. I forgot the terminology also. And then I was like, how the heck do I find it? And I just went to visual search, or MSN search, and Bing search, and I was just typing like how to find a very specific blue color XYZ thingy. Right, so now if there weren't any images annotated which are able to sort of fish out something which we want to search, fitting our description, then that's not possible, right? So that is the use case for having, or for tagging images, or for having a metadata about images, or auto captioning of images and stuff like that. So if you look at the Bing visual search website, you can have upload pictures, and maybe say find shares like this, or search for navy blue color stiletto heels, or just post a picture and say what is this. Like, if you are just posting a picture of a dolphin and say what is this, it will come out with all the taxonomy classification for this is a dolphin, where it is found, it's an endangered species, and so on and so forth, right? So if you for example, if you look at this and search for heels, and then it will probably come out with all of this content, and then you can zoom in on any aspect of the image which you want to, and then it will sort of give you content on related to the part of the image that you have zoomed into, right? So all these are nothing but image tagging, the images which were indexed earlier, and now this has enabled you for a complete image search. All right, so now once we have made our piece with how images are tagged, or metadata is extracted out of images, let us now go to learn about videos, right? So image analysis, we see how it was possible, static images. Now videos is nothing but moving images, correct? So how to analyze videos in real time with the video indexer analyzer service? So there are multiple ways to go around this problem. One is like, I get the video frame by frame, and then each frame I send it to my cognitive service, my video indexer service, get the insights from it. So send the frame, get the insight, send the frame, get the insight. Now that is a very time consuming and not a very optimized approach to do things, right? So because each frame might take very different time to get analyzed depending on its complexity. So second approach is parallelizing the API call. So I grab 10 frames at once and then spawn 10 threads and have 10 parallel API calls. But how to keep a sort of cognizance of the order in which the frames were sent and in the order in which they arrive. For example, there was frame 1 which might take maybe 30 seconds for analysis, but frame 2 completed analysis in 5 seconds and came back. Now, how do I know that this is the result of frame 2? Because frame 1 is still pending, right? So that is why a producer consumer design pattern is somewhat which is best of both the worlds. So we have a producer thread which will send our frames for analysis, and then as soon as they are being analyzed, they are put inside a queue, right? In the order in which they were sent. Okay, so I get the result, but then I don't have to I don't have to block the frames. So whatever frames are analyzed, they are put inside the queue depending on the order in which they are completed, and that queue sort of gives me the keeps count of what was sent. I mean, it belongs to which producer and which uh, what is that order, sort order, correct? I mean, seeing all this background, let's come to the Azure Video Analyzer fundamentals, right? So this is a part of applied AI services, okay? And then it enables you to extract insights from the videos with respect to the images also, as well as the audio also, okay? And then once you start extracting sorry, so when you there are two flavors of the video analyzer. One is inside preview mode, okay, which is for your IoT machine learning with IoT custom vision, and one is video analyzer for media, which was previously termed as video indexer. All right. So just to put it in perspective, this is a very thematic diagram of how your videos are analyzed. So this is your video, and then it is split into your audio, what is being said in the video, and the vision, okay, the visuals analysis. So what all is analyzed in the audio? So your audio voice activity detection, okay, then emotion recognition, whether the depending on the voice inflection of the speaker, the intonations, and the way in which it is being conveyed, it can recognize the emotion of the audio, right? Sentiment analysis, audio effects like certain audio effects like screaming, clapping, laughing, and all can be detected. And keyword, topic modeling, and brand detection. These are the and text analytics. Text meaning audio analytics being done, right? So if the speaker is talking about a particular launch event of a particular brand, like I'm saying Nike shoes or Adidas, then it can detect that brand. It can have keyword extraction as to what were the important keywords in what I was saying. Okay, topic modeling is identifying my conversation is centered around what all important themes. Okay, same way for the visual aspect, it can detect faces, it can group faces, it can have optical character recognition. Okay, it can have best face selection. We'll actually see this in action. What is all this? What is best face, and what is short segmentation, and what is keyframe, right? So these things, just hold on to this for a while, and we will see this in action. It can detect rolling credits, meaning start or end, where at the end of the video you have credits for all the people who thanking all the people for their efforts and all. So it can very well detect rolling credits. Okay, it can have visual content moderation. So what content to show, whether does it have any objectionable content, any racy content. All right, and we also have labels detected. Okay, so, and finally, both of this audio and vision analysis together will form the video index, which is like your insight for your videos. Okay, all right. Let us look at the video indexer in action so that the next part would be easier for you to understand, which is what are the possibilities we have with video analyzer. Okay. All right, here. So let us check out for video analyzer. Okay, so this is one particular, this is a video in action. All right. Okay, and this is a video of Satya Nadella and Sam George speaking at some product launch event of Microsoft. All right, so this video is roughly around 9 minutes. I'm not going to play out the entire video for you, right? So I was just showing you that this was not just a static image. It is actually a 9 minute long video. Satya Nadella speaking very passionately about something, right? So your video indexer, what all it helps you to extract. So people, which is, if you can see, right, it has extracted who are the total number of actors in the entire video. So it identified Nadella and it identified Sam George, right? Now you remember, like in our presentation in the vision analysis, there was something called as best face. Best face meaning, let's say Satya Nadella appeared a total number of 25 times throughout the video. So from all those 25 snapshots of Nadella, it picked out a thumbnail. It picked out a picture to show as a thumbnail, and it pinned it as the best face. So it found that this image is good, holds, I mean, is a good representation of all the 25 headshots which I had, and it used it as a thumbnail. Same for Sam George, like it picked out one picture to show as a best face for a thumbnail. All right. So then it will show you, like if you click on Satya Nadella's picture, then it will show you all the parts in which he appeared. And then you can just click on jump to next instance and see the next time he's appearing. It will actually take you to that segment of the video. So if you are, if you click to jump next instance, it will take you to that. So now see, you were here, and now when you click to jump next instance, it will take you to that instance where he's appearing again. So all of these things, right? So he appears a total of 7 times in this video. And then if you click on that, it will actually take you to those segments where he's actually appearing. All right. Key topics. Okay. Key topics is the a particular, like we say that what are the major themes what are being spoken about in the video, right? So if I would just keep it as themes right now, because this is a area of topic modeling which is like unsupervised machine learning and a huge territory in itself, right? So this is basically topic modeling is unsupervised machine learning, wherein it will try to pick out main themes from your conversation, from the entire audio. All right. So it has identified key topics here. So something like outer loop, pending failure, operational dashboard, click deploy, IoT edge, intelligent edge, right? So that gives us an idea of somewhat a semblance of understanding of what the video is trying to tell us. All right. And you can click on any of these, and it will take you to actually, it will show you that operational dashboards occurs at this and this instance. And you can click here, jump to next instance. It will actually take you to the part of that video where operational dashboard is being spoken. Just, just quickly see it. Heard that? So we operational dashboard, and when we click to jump instance, it actually went to that video part where operational dashboard was being highlighted. All right. Next, it will go to sentiment analysis. Same way, you can try click deploy and IoT edge, right? Sentiment analysis is how the sentiment changes throughout the video. So for most part of the video, the sentiment was neutral, and there were a few passages where the sentiment was distinctively positive. So you can see, like for the end part, the sentiment was positive. So maybe there were voice intonations such that it was depicting excitement or happiness, right? Or the words itself are depicting, like 100% rise, or we saw like 20% improvement or 20 times better, those sort of things, right? So let us look at this. So if you see that, for this, from all this part, it is all a positive sentiment basis, variety of things, like it is saying words like interesting, or maybe the way he's conveying these things gives us a very upbeat sort of, reaction. All right. Next thing is key annotations. Key annotations is uh, I'm annotating things in the video, like what it saw person, it saw something as indoor, it saw something as a man, it saw a Nintendo console somewhere, it saw computer monitor floor screenshot. So trying to understand what it saw in each of the different scenes. All right, so maybe this entire video was made up of say 50 different scenes, and in all those 50 different scenes, what were the distinctive features that it spotted. Okay, so let us click at any one of these things. So let's click at Nintendo, and let's, in Nintendo, yeah. So somewhere, it saw that. Or let us click on computer. Okay, let us click on computer, and let's say jump to next instance. Yeah, you can see, right? So in this here, you can see that these are laptop screens being opened and shown something. So it is identified computers there. All right, so this is key annotations. Transcription is transcribing what is being spoken, correct? Sorry. Okay, so transcription is your real time translation, right? So whatever he's saying, it is being recorded here, right? So you can see here, right? So here it is reading the transcript, and if there are optical characters to be recognized, like, for example, this sandwich, okay, this is an image there, and it has to pull out something from that. That also it will do. All right. So real time, transcription of speech. Also, not only transcription, it will also translate. This is much the same what, you and me typically do when we are watching Netflix movies. So one very specific example which comes to mind is Narcos, right? It was in Spanish, and then all of us turned on the subtitles, and we all watched it throughout in English. So this is also what your video insights are going to do. So it's not only transcribing, but it's also translating to the target language that if you select, right? Correct. So yeah, so it is giving you all these facilities: people, key topics, sentiments, key annotations, transcriptions. Okay, and this is for the entire video. As you can see that it will also identify segments where these particular things are visible, and you can actually pinpoint to that very instance in the video when this word was being said, or when Satya was spotted, or when the sentiment was negative or positive. So this is a wonderful way to organize your videos, right? And then you, extract out those segments of the videos which people are searching. Okay, again, a very interesting example of why this video indexer would be important, like this sort of segmentation, or extracting out what is being spoken, or key topics, key sentiments is. I remember, like, couple of years ago, when the world was quite normal, pandemic free, and then we had this very beautiful Avengers Endgame movie. I mean, it seemed beautiful that time, not so much right now. But that time, like, most of us who watched the movie and came back home immediately, on YouTube, we went and saw, like, try to pull out that very specific scene where Captain America is saying Avengers Assemble, and that particular video clip had garnered like more than millions of views, right? So this is typically how you are giving search queries for the video indexer, right? So this is how you're searching videos, and this is why it is important that you gather these insights for these videos. Okay. All right. So now, once we have seen the video indexer in action, this is, you know, um, these are some of the things which we saw there, like scenes, shots, and keyframes. So each of the video is made up of different scenes, right? Each scene is made up of different shots, and each shot is made up of different keyframes, right? So the video analyzer or the video indexer, what it is going to do is it is trying to analyze different scenes, and those scenes it will try to see how many shots it is comprised of. So a scene is like, uh, when a scene changes is something like, all these three characters are doing something differently, or the background changes, or some new character enters the picture, or they are sitting now, the scene changes, they will be all standing or shaking hands, doing something basically different, right? So this is how scene segmentation is done, and uh, that will be instrumental, pivotal for us to search a particular action or a particular scene inside a video, and then it will be possible to fetch that particular point of time where that stuff was happening inside that video. So very important concepts, these things. So scenes are made up, video is made up of scenes are made up of shots, and shots are made up of keyframes. Okay, so keyframes is one frame which is like a best representation of that particular shot. Okay, so maybe this shot for this three people talking, maybe it could have had 20 different frames. Okay, but there was one keyframe identified which was sort of able to explain this shot. Okay, so keyframes are the best frames from the entire video which are going to represent that shot correctly. All right, so scenes, shots, keyframes, I hope that is correct. Okay, now I hope that is clear. Okay, now what I can do with video analyzer, you can do deep search, like you can specifically search for keywords or phrases inside the video and fetch the video. It can be used for creating content, meaning for example, you are your ad industries or your marketing industries are typically using these video analyzer insights to create trailers or short clips, right? For which are like a summary for the entire thing. So your movie trailers or your upcoming web series trailers, these are nothing but insights which can be used to create short clips. So content creation, accessibility, right? So distributing your content in different languages, monetization, this is what typically your industries which thrive on ad revenues or social media and so on, they can use this video analyzer insights to sort of increase their revenue, right? So they can use this extracted insights as additional signals to the ad server, like what to show now, what to highlight now, which ad to pop up now. So monetization, content moderation, of course, right? Like which content to show, which content to highlight, which content to sort of amplify, which content to censor. Okay, recommendations is of course, like depending on what you watch, additional content be recommended to you. So all your Netflix, Amazon, e-commerce websites, entertainment websites, social media thrives on recommendations. Okay, now what features can you extract? We already saw that in video you could extract face, celebrity. Account based face identification is, if you want to train the video for your own company videos. So let's say, like I want to train video analyzer on my company videos where it can identify my CIO, my CTO, my conferences in which they were the keynote speakers. So account based face identification. Thumbnail extraction also we saw, right? It will extract out a best face. Text recognition, optical character recognition, content moderation, labels identification, where it identified the labels as person, outdoor, indoor, scene segmentation. So it determines those point of times where the scene changes. Like in the video of Satya Nadella and Sam George, we saw that the places where Sam George was speaking or Satya was speaking, and where the scenes where maybe there was a black screen or there was a ceiling or Nintendo console shown. So scene segmentation, shot detection, right? So For example, the shot detection types like, this close-up shot or long shot, those sort of things. Okay. Keyframe extraction. So extracting out the keyframes. Rolling credits is end of the video. If there are any animated characters, it can also extract those. And observe people tracking is the movement tracking. So people moving from this end to that end, and towards the end of the video, whether they are in close up, whether they are far off, those sort of tracking movements with timestamps. Okay. So from the audio, you can extract transcription. You can have closed captioning, correct, right? You can have multi-language speech identification and translation. It can also reduce noise or apply some predefined filters, right? It can have textual content moderation, so delete explicit text, or moderate that censor that text. Audio effects is it can detect gunshot, glass shatter, alarm, siren. Emotion detection, as I said, like based on the way the emotions are based on the speech, like joy, sadness, anger. Translation, right? And audio, these are like cloud reaction detection and stuff like that. And there are certain things which are extracted for both audio and video, like keywords, named entities, topics, sentiment analysis. This is done for both audio and video as well. All right. So the thing which we saw right now was audio, Azure video analyzer for media. Okay. There's another video analyzer which is in preview mode right now, which is more for your Internet of Things, Azure IoT, and it is for doing machine learning using custom vision on the edge. All right. So it is supposed to work with IoT edge modules such as stream analytics on IoT edge or cognitive services on IoT edge, and it is for those purposes. Okay. So this is the GitHub link where you can see an a working example of video indexer, video analyzer in action. So actually how to create an account and how to sort of get up and running with a video analyzer. So it helps you to create a Power app, if I'm not wrong, and how to embed a video analyzer with it. Okay. So let us look at how to do it from the portal. So right. So this is your video indexer AI portal, like your customvision.ai or your louis.ai. This is videoindexer.ai website. I have already linked it to my Azure subscription. All right. So to be able to upload videos or to be able to index videos, you should have a connection, which is a subscription linked to your Azure subscription. And then you should have a library where you can upload videos. Then you go to projects, you can start creating new projects. Okay. So for the sake of the demo today, and also keeping note of the time, okay, we'll see that in the samples here, let us look at one video here, right? So let us click and let us see what sort of insights we are able to generate for this particular video. Okay, so this is the video which we see here, which is talking of gaming services in Azure. All right. And if you see that it has identified 9 people in the video. Okay, it will also give you the timeline. Okay, so let us look at the insights first. So it has recognized 9 people. And if you click on then Olivia Close, if I click on her, then these are the times where she appears. There are 23 topics which were identified with the unsupervised machine learning topic modeling, right? So topics identified were technology, software application, software engineering. And if you click on those, they will actually navigate you to that particular place when those words were being spoken. Okay. They only identified one audio effect, okay, which was speech. Okay. It identified 30 keywords like web app, virtual machine, game developer. And if you click on those, you can actually navigate. So if I click SQL database and I click play next, that's weird. Okay. If I click on resource group and play next, then it will actually move. Yeah, see now if I click resource group, then it is actually navigating me to that. It identified 139 labels. So it identified screenshot, person, human face, and named entities where, it was speaking of South Korea, Canada, locations, right? Brands. It identified pricing partners, Microsoft Azure, okay? Emotions, which is most of the time was neutral or there was joy. And look at here, 27 scenes. Okay, so this entire video was made up of 27 scenes. Each video was made up of sorry, so if I click on this scene, then it will give me the number of shots in that scene. So let us look at this particular scene wherein it is gaming and this building on fire and stuff. So this particular scene was made up of 22 shots. All right, so this scene, so I clicked on that, it navigated me to that, and it was made of 22 shots, and you can actually click on that and navigate to any of those shots here. Okay, and each of this shot it is giving you the number of keyframes it is made up of. Okay, so this shot was made up of 2 keyframes, this shot was made up of 3 keyframes, and you can click on those keyframes and navigate to that exact particular point in the video. All right, okay, so this particular shot was made up of 1 keyframe, and so on and so forth, right? So I hope that clarifies your understanding of scenes, shots, and keyframes. Okay, so if you click on those, it will navigate to those very specific parts, and this is how you can search videos, like you search text. This is how you can search videos. All right, so pretty interesting. Like I think this was one of the very exciting features I observed with cognitive services in quite some time, right? So yeah, please free to try it out on your own videos, and absolutely have a blast experimenting with all these functionalities. All right, so sorry. Okay, so yeah, having said that, some of the nitty-gritties, if we get to deep dive into those, uh, normally what happens with the image recognition object detection is you're using principal component analysis. So you're reducing the dimensions, and how you are reducing the dimension is by the usage of eigenvalues, eigenvectors, and if you get into deep dive into all of these nitty gritties, I'm sure all of us are going to fall asleep. All right. So that is why let us not reinvent the wheel. Let us leverage on the good work which Azure has done for us. So just get your Azure subscription, get hold of your video analytics service, and you're good to go. All right. I'm open to any questions if anyone has.